Hey, what's up, everybody? You're listening to I Want to Know, the podcast where we talk about the Bible and Christian living. I'm one of your hosts, Neil, and as you know, we have the incredible Rudo and Mamiala with us. Over to you, Rudo.
So we have our special guest here joining us today, Anati. Please welcome her.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Oh, Nat, she's a friend of mine. Guys. I am so excited for this episode. And so apparently you guys want to talk about online dating. You guys like things. People like things. Online dating. And yeah, we're going to get into that. I am actually so excited about that. And whether it's actually a good idea or a bad idea. Like, I've had my experiences, but we'll get into that. But hey, without any further, hey guys, this podcast is real. Without any further ado, Rito, let's go. What's the first question, girl?
Okay, so it reads, online dating is not a new thing, but it has recently gained traction as apps like Bumble and Tinder connect people on these dating apps. We also see people sliding into DMs of people they don't know but have taken a liking to. What about online dating is attractive?
So I'm staying out of this because I'm learning a new language. Never done it, don't know it, but I have some thoughts down the line, but maybe others should go first, eh?
I'm actually curious to know, in your time, what is the equivalent of sliding into DMs, but we can still get there. Letters?
I think, no, you walked
Love
up
letters?
to strangers. No, you can't send a letter to someone you never
yeah,
met, you don't
that's
know
true.
their address.
The dress.
Walk up and introduce yourself to a stranger.
Oh,
that's a
sliding
daunting
into the
task.
DMs.
So like at high school, if you were like at high school and you went to a dance. So I was in boarding school at boys only,
Yeah.
and you would go to the girls' school for a organized dance. That's like walking across the room to the girl that you see and go, "Hi, my name is Neil." That was it. That's direct
slow dance.
message.
Direct communication. I love that.
Yeah.
Direct message.
You know, I've never been in a time where that was a thing,
Yeah.
but I wish that was like the case, because
Like, talk about direct. I love what you did there.
Yeah.
So what were you saying again? People have taken...
What about it? Online dating is attractive.
yeah.
You know, I think different things attract different people. So I've tried online dating and I quite enjoyed it because I'm a very curious person, generally. I'm curious and I love people and I'm curious about people. So it took me a long time to eventually try it. My friends had been trying it for like years, maybe like 5 years at this stage, because at the time when I went on it, I had friends who were now in long-term relationships from Tinder. 5 years together, 7 years together. Others were now married, or friends of friends that were married at that stage. But also
So it actually works.
So there was a positive. Okay. So there are people for who it works.
Okay.
All right. Remember, like how I look at it is whatever it is that happens offline. Okay, let me put it this way: whoever you are offline, that's who you're gonna take online. Whoever you are inside is who you're gonna take offline. So when you're looking around in a room full of people, sorry to say this, you have perverted thoughts, you're gonna take those thoughts online. So rewind back to what I found attractive about it. I mean, as a person that works full time and then you volunteer at a church, where are you most of the time? So you're working, okay, I mean, for me that works at a church. You're working at the church and you're churching with those same people on a Sunday and most likely socializing with those same people on Saturdays. So I was at a stage where I was finding myself going to braais where it's like 98% married people at the braai. And then me
So no
and
new-
a single
no new prospects.
No new prospects at all. And I mean, don't we treat each other like brothers and sisters
But we should. Yeah. But
in our
okay.
spaces? I mean, in the church. So yeah, online dating, it's like your field opens up,
It opens up.
So options.
Options.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's for me as an extrovert, but then for introverts, you might find that it's easier for them to chat.
Okay.
You don't have that pressure of the person is in front of you, and it also removes that pressure of, is this person interested in me? Do they like what I look like? Do they like my interests? So yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, man. I think there's a big catalog, there's a catalog out there,
Because we're cataloging people now.
Yeah,
Watch
like,
and
I
pray.
mean, if you're in a specific area or specific address, you see certain people and then, I mean, you get used to them. But man, online, you're like, oh, she's fire. Okay, swipe right. Maybe not my type. Swipe left. My bio, but yeah, so it's I don't know. There's a bigger catalog there, which is quite nice. I think also what I enjoy is the intentions are set from the get-go. So we don't have to play games of I'm trying to be your friend and
True,
going by
yeah.
the back door. The fact that you are on this app and then I'm on this app means let's go.
Yes.
We're not
Is
this
looking to be
popping or is this
friends.
not popping?
Let's go dating.
The quickest
dating,
way
yeah.
that I will ignore you on an on-site app is if you say, I'm here to make friends. Go to Facebook, sorry. I mean, I'm not on Tinder to make friends. Like, let's get down to business. Are you looking for a wife? Are you looking for a husband?
So as an ignoramus, can I ask a question? Because I'm trying to find reference points now and understand my age is a thing here. Okay. But so when I saw some of the questions here, I was wondering about, because for me, you must know what the thing is for. Anything. When you're engaging in an online platform, whether you're at a function, when you're using tech, you must know what its purpose is. So is the purpose here, so in the old days, now we go way back, if you wanted to meet a match, maybe you'd go walk on a Sunday afternoon in the town square, or a family friend would introduce you to someone. Even in the 1950s, this was common. People would introduce you to people who they would think was certain a match. You even had, in some of the really older communities, hundreds of years ago, matchmakers who would try and match people from families to match. So is this like this online space, it's a new way of meeting people? So like, in my day, you went to school dances, or you hang out at this church youth group, or the young adults group at your church, or friends introduce you to their friends. And I think all of that still happens, obviously, but this is now a new way to find people and meet people. But what you shared now, Mamielo, is a bit different for me, because it's also, the intention is clear. We're not here to be friends, we're here to see if there's a spark.
Yeah.
Is that a fair understanding?
Yeah, that's one element of it.
Okay.
I mean, there's other people specifically use the apps and dating apps for sex. I mean, let's be real.
So for hookups.
For
They are,
hookups, yeah.
Actually, it's good that you're saying that, because I actually wanted to add to say the intentions are clear from the get-go. So you'll see some people will say strictly no hookups, and others will say strictly hookups, and others will say, what's that line?
So it's like
I'm
seriously
only-
upfront.
Yeah.
Seriously
So
upfront.
others will say, I'm
Yeah.
only here for a good time, not here for a long time. Then if you're looking for a future spouse, don't play with that one that says I'm here for a short, or for a good time, not for a long time, something like that. So intentions are very upfront, and the people that are honest and straightforward, because other people will pretend like they're looking for something long term, but they actually want a hookup. But then
Because those are some of the horror stories I've heard, where the stories I've heard are about ladies where they enjoy, but by the third or fourth email or whatever direct message, there's send me a picture of yourself naked kind of thing.
So that's
That's
when
a real
you
thing that
know.
happens.
That's your red flag right there.
Okay.
The conversations, where's the person trying to meet? Are they trying to meet you in the evening? Are they asking to come to your place? Oh, one of the questions that a person has unclean intentions, I can say, they'll ask who do you live with?
Ah, come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
where do you
Anna.
stay?
Ah,
Who do you stay with?
Too much.
I
Come on. Who
You
do
guys
you
are
live
making
with?
this up.
Who do you live with? That's this question.
So that's one of the.
Okay.
I'm just saying the type of person but that's one of the red flags. If they're asking you for inappropriate photos, if they're asking you where you live, who you live with, do you have a car? Those are like hidden questions, guys. When they come together, when those questions come together, you can sort of gather. So
Each one pops a little flag up.
exactly.
Okay. Thank you for the education.
Yeah, so one thing that I love that I want to connect to what Mamiela said about online dating is it's so much easier to see whether or not you'll connect with someone, people that do have bios, that is. So a person who writes God first, whether they're a parent, because for me, I'm a mom, so my profile went God first, mother of one, indoor, outdoor, hiking, running, healthy eating. So then all the things that interest me, I've written them there. And, with the assumption or hope that somebody who, matches that
you're
or
quite
shares the
upfront,
interest.
yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
But you see what I'm saying? Who you are offline is who you are online. Because I'm direct
Well,
generally.
you should be if you've got any integrity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what
People
I
are
was
different.
thinking. Like, people might just like not say the truth and just put like what they
Yeah,
want to
that's
attract.
true. So then there's that side where people are upfront. So I mean, the apps are forever. What would I say? Improving. So now there's this option where you don't have to, because not everybody wants to write. So you can just tick things. Like you can tick top 5 things. So there you have dog lover, outdoors, wine enthusiast, coffee, whatever, and then somebody might pick you based on those as well. Or of course, first your looks, and then they'll see your interests. So I mean, that's a layer that you remove that normally you still have to find out in person. I can see a guy and be like, I like that. I like his vibe, like across the coffee shop, but I don't know if he thinks God first. I don't know if he likes kids. I don't know if he whatever, you know. So online, you can see somebody at a distance. You know, you like how they look, and already you see if they've written their values down. I mean, with the assumption that they do have integrity. So there, you share your values. You're Christians or whatever it is. There's that one layer removed. He doesn't agree.
People lie. You lie. They
They
lie.
do.
So I think that's important, and maybe it speaks into some of the questions later. Is
Yeah.
you still need to meet the person
You do.
in the real world somewhere soon, I would think, in the process,
Agreed.
so that you can start
So-
seeing is there alignment,
Yeah.
I think. But what I'm hearing, which I haven't known before, is actually this takes a couple of maybe coffees or out of the place of getting to know somebody. Like you said, you're already starting up front and you actually know why you're here
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Look, in the old in the old days, like if you ask a girl to a dance, already then she would know I'm interested. It wasn't just you know, when I was at school at least.
Yeah.
You didn't. If you asked someone to a dance, you were expressing interest. It wasn't just I need someone
Platonic.
near around.
Nowadays, you ask someone, it's deep. It's deep, Neil, because then they go for 500 dances with all people, and you're like, what's wrong with you?
Why are you dancing with everyone?
Yeah, why are you dancing with everyone? Why are you texting everyone? It's just,
Yeah.
it's very
While you're
weird.
texting him.
Okay.
And that's the thing about the online space. So I wanted to say, for us as Christians, we have this one big advantage, which is the Holy Spirit. Like one thing that I will say is if you're going to go online, in fact, if you're going to date, period, always take the Holy Spirit with you. Before the date, when you start chatting to somebody, okay, I'm sorry, I might be wrong, but this is my thing. So my thing is I talk to the Lord. Like, what would I say? If I'm just chatting with somebody, I don't know, the Holy Spirit sort of removes a layer. There's just something about him where he reveals things. So it's either going to be in the chatting space. Okay, let me say this. Some would say trust your gut. But then
So you trust in God for discernment.
discernment is definitely it. In the chatting space, I wanted to say you won't meet everybody and you won't necessarily chat with everybody for more than just 1 hour or 1 day. So not everybody that you, what is it, right swipe when it's, you like, not everybody that, you know, you match with is somebody that you will chat with beyond a day. And it's not somebody that you will meet. Or sometimes when you meet, I mean, I can have coffee with somebody and before I'm even halfway through the coffee can tell this is not going to work because first of all their vibe is just not vibing with me, and for me I just attribute it to the Holy Spirit because I don't know, it's a discernment thing, like something in you feels like you're dishonest. So one thing I would say is trust your gut. When you're chatting to somebody and they ask you something and it feels icky, like you feel uncomfortable with a question or things that they're saying, you can just tell there's too much embellishment here or, you know, things like that. So trust your gut. If it feels icky, it probably is. If it feels wrong, if it feels questionable, it probably is. So, yeah. Don't meet somebody that you have red flags about already.
So we've kind of got into this a little bit around what are the positive elements of online dating as opposed to traditional forms. So someone asked that question, and I think we've covered that ground a little bit already. But I don't know if there's anything to add.
No, I think I'm great. All right, let's keep it moving. So digital courage is one thing, but face-to-face is something completely different. Is online dating a comfort zone platform for people afraid to pursue face-to-face? Is digital a comfort zone?
It can be, and I think particularly for our introverted people, and also people that probably have had very bad experiences being rejected a lot. So you can hide behind your personality, because I mean, there's a lot of people that openly say, I know I'm not good looking, but I've got personality. I think it's a good space for you to showcase your personality, you know, through all the chats and
But you're
whatever.
hoping someone looks past the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, that
If
picture's
you
very
get past
important.
that, if you get past that,
Okay.
yeah, the picture is important. But it can be.
So it sounds like it feels like it's safer to message someone without being, you know, it's that walking across the room and saying, hi, do you want to dance? This feels considerably easier and safer than that to me.
Definitely.
I don't know.
The humiliation is not out there for everybody to see.
Okay.
I don't know. I take a different view on this. I feel like, and my words could be weird, but I feel like sometimes it's emotional porn. It's people escaping from the reality of relationships into the digital nature of it. And most people are afraid to get to that meeting stage. They just want to keep chatting and keep chatting. So that chat fills an emotional void that they don't have socially with actual people.
Okay.
And that perpetuates for quite some time. So it's sometimes, and this is social media in general.
Yeah.
It feels like that swipe, that oh my gosh, we matched. There's that dopamine feeling, like oh,
Yeah.
I feel validated, I feel worth something. But it's not actually real until you get to that place of meeting the actual person.
And I mean, a lot of the research on that is in, like the likes online, the swipe you referred to. It literally has a dopamine effect in your brain. It's like being literally measured. So I mean, there's a book. It's called Digital Cocaine. It's because it's the brain, the neural pathways, the receptors from getting these likes and online affirmations are similar to like drug addiction, man.
My goodness, that explains why people have been escalating how risque their pictures are, I suppose. Because when people started on social
'Cause they want the
platforms-
hits.
Exactly. So at first you were like playing it safe, and then you're becoming riskier and riskier, you know, less material. You know, people are escalating things. I don't know, even moving from just simple pictures to like videos now. So I suppose I hear what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Because now it's not just the hits, there's an emotional element of this person could
Could
be attracted.
be.
They could be attracted to me. But I think from my personal experience with doing the two, from digital to face is much more easier than face to face straight on. Because face to face straight on, we still, you know, sussing each other out, you know. By the time we get to digital, okay, I've seen your bio, I kind of know what you're about. I remember the one girl I matched with, she's clearly stated, I'm agnostic. Unfortunately, I didn't do the checks. My finger was just swiping and swiping and swiping. And then she added me on Instagram, funny enough. And listen, if you Google Mamiala, you just see there's Jesus and his church. There's nothing agnostic about me. And then we actually met, and this is where the conundrum came, because we actually clicked, we vibed, like, but we believe very different things. And so from the get-go, I knew, okay, a relationship is not happening here. But the more we had conversations, the more she actually started to reflect on, okay, I guess all Christians are not the same. There's something different that's happening here. So there's quite an interesting dynamic with face-to-face from digital. But with face-to-face specifically, there has to be a context. You have to create that context of, hey, this is so-and-so, you know, and that's always awkward. I hate being hooked up.
Agreed. Digital to in person is certainly easier. Like I found when I have met people so going back to, you're not going to meet everybody. You don't have to meet everyone. But for me personally, when I've made the decision to meet someone, it's when I really felt like we've been hitting it off. We've been chatting nonstop. You know, our values match, our interests match. We really vibe. So when I meet with this person, no awkward vibes. I think I've had one meeting that was so awkward, I couldn't even get to my meal. I had to ask for my meal as a takeaway. It is so bad. So that was the only time. But other than that, as you said, you've already been chatting, the ice has been broken, the interest is there, you've already got your inside jokes. You get there, you might crack a joke. Well, for me, I'm a joke person. You know, crack a one-liner, you laugh. So yeah, compared to the awkwardness of Mamiela's now introduced me to his friend, and I'm still kind of feeling awkward. I don't know if the friend and I have anything in common. Are we gonna vibe? Are we not gonna vibe? Sorry. I think, yeah. But if I had met that person digitally, would have obviously kept chatting to the point of meeting because there's something there. There's an initial attraction there, or at least that's how I do it. I'm not gonna go waste my time meeting somebody that I did not vibe with over the phone.
I got a question. Because you're a lady, right? Like, when guys like slide into your DMs, like
Guys, don't slide into my DMs. Can I just say? The only guys that slide into my DMs are guys that I know from here at church.
from church.
Which is good. I think it's healthy.
You know, but not in an awkward way, like in a safe way, in a way that is so safe that I wouldn't say, oh, Mamiela likes me, but it's like oh, Mamiela likes my photos type of thing, or whatever, likes my stories type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's a conversation about my stories type of thing. But it's never been a, oh, hey, girl, you know.
Because apparently I was speaking to some guys and they say, like, if you like a girl's picture, like 5 pictures in a row on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm saying something, girl.
Oh, yeah.
I am saying something.
So there's a new code now.
Yeah, there's a new code.
That's definitely a thing.
So this is not just someone laughing too loudly at your jokes. You got to like 5 pictures.
You gotta like 5
Yes.
pictures, like, okay,
Oh,
he's on my radar.
Okay.
My phone is buzzing, because I did it to
And
this one
sends
girl. And it
fires
worked.
to your stories. I mean, unless it's a Mamiela sends fires to everybody. But if it's another guy, a guy
If
that
I haven't sent fires to you, there's nothing personal.
No, because I suppose the flip side of this is also true, is that rejection is rejection.
Yes.
So, because I mean, that's the thing, you know, the walking up to the girl and, you know, falling on your face, you learn about, okay, this is rejection, let me get up. It's a lot more personal, I suppose, than if someone just, whatever, swiped left. But you don't know who swipes left or whatever.
Exactly. You don't
So it
know.
makes it easier.
That's a better
But
thing.
then you've had the chat and you go for the date and then can I have my meal takeaway, please? That's still real rejection.
Oh, do you know, can I just say, I couldn't sit there with this person. It's just, I think my values, it depends on what does it for you. First of all, I'm a vibes person. If I don't like your vibe, I'm just not gonna be able to pretend. I'm very bad at pretending.
What do you mean by vibes? Explain this vibes thing.
Yeah, how do I explain this vibes thing? Well, I've been all about vibes since before there was a word for it. Like for me, I used to be like, if we don't click, I'm a very spiritual person.
You must be an asparagus. Then we really quick for an asparagus.
No, I mean,
You know those girls.
so you don't know
Yeah.
that thing where you maybe meet somebody and conversation just flows.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then there's some people that nothing flows. Like this person, I found them to be so offensive. Every word that came out of their mouth was just offensive and went against who I am, what I believe. Like everything was just offensive. Very, what's the word? I've lost the English word for the opposite of a feminist. What do you call-
Misogynist.
He was such a misogynist. Like women belong in the kitchen and da. You know, you shouldn't have aspirations and dreams. And I mean, that is the opposite of
I can
who
just
I
imagine
am.
how well that went.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was just like, waiter, please. I remembered I have a meeting. I just have to go. So, yeah. Then
Hectic. You don't have your friends experience, because one of the questions that we asked, and it's about inboxes to inbox versus face to face. And are we losing ourselves as humanity now, like socially? Like, have we lost that element to the point of where we just wanna be digital and be convenient? Which ones do you prefer? So if you as a high schooler,
Representing all high schoolers in the world.
representing all high schoolers,
no pressure.
No pressure. I feel like this is just my perspective though, but other people, like people who have more experience in it, might think it as more positive. But I feel like doing it online, like sliding into someone's DMs, is way more easy than like actually going up to someone. And once you reach the point where you're ready to meet this person, it may be like awkward because they didn't show you their true self, and like they didn't show you everything. Like people are like way more confident online. Like I know I am. I'm way more confident online. So I'll say whatever, I'll do whatever. But when I come to the point where I'm meeting someone, I'll be like super shy and super awkward. So like I feel like that might be the case with like a lot of people, because like you don't know how you're gonna, if you're only talking online, you don't know how you're gonna react when it's in person. And so I don't know. But you guys have like very, very positive like views, and I'm seeing like it's a lot easier if it's like on a dating website where you can say what your interests are, you can say who you are, whatever. But like on like Instagram, you only see what the person wants you to see, and so it's like you will get interested in that person that they're portraying online, but it's not actually who they are. And that's the case with a lot of people, and it's it's kind of corrupt.
Look, I think it's probably easier to do online, but even in person, people can still project, and that's why in earlier episodes I've said take time getting to know somebody, because people can hold a facade for a while. I knew a guy once who we were in a certain friendship circle, and he was always very reserved, and after a couple of months, suddenly he became very friendly. So I actually asked him at a stage, I said, no, you know what changed? He said, no, I checked everybody out for a couple of months, because people can only hold up a facade so long. And when I started seeing who people really were, I made my connections and stuff. So maybe just leading on from what Rita said, maybe I must double barrel some of the questions that the guys have asked. But how does one separate the genuine people looking for love and the fake people looking for hookups? Because one of the criticisms of all these sites actually is they're more about sex than anything else. It was quite revealing how you told us earlier how upfront some people are. But now it comes to looks. Isn't this whole process overvaluing looks and personality and values and stuff become secondary? How do we weight these things properly? How do we weight looks and stuff? Well, yeah, please, because I don't know.
I just want to say, even when I first saw this question, I might keep repeating and reiterating what I keep saying. Number one, how do you tell the difference between somebody that wants something real or just wants a hookup? First of all, you need to observe. Okay, well, first of all, I just said that discernment thing. Discernment is so powerful. You don't even need to meet somebody in order to feel in your spirit that this is not right. They might over-embellish, they might be over-sweet, overly romantic, overly idealistic. You can see the things are from the movies, the lines are from movies, whatever it is, like you will see the red flags. Well, I suppose that's when you maybe have life experience. It might be harder, maybe if you're a teenager, to discern. It might be harder to how would I say, to connect past experience to, okay, no, I've heard this story before, you know. But anyway, discernment is your first thing. And then if you don't have that discernment, if you can't tell whether it's God, it's your hormones, or it's, you know, if you can't tell the difference, then just connect, connect the dots. Like I said, if a person's asking you for inappropriate photos, who do you live with? Do you have a car? You can see what they leading up to.
Do you have a car and who you live with? I mean, come on.
No. Those are not okay. Those are things that I've experienced that showed me where this was going. And indeed, I literally observed. I entertained and observed until it got to the point of, okay, let's have our first meeting. Now suddenly the meeting must be at my place or at the person's place. So the things add up. Like, so that's how you can tell intention. You look what it's building towards. Is it building towards, okay, a coffee, and after that coffee you guys are having another public experience, and they open for you to invite your friends and for them to invite their friends. Clean intentions will reveal themselves, and impure intentions will also reveal themselves. Where is a person trying to get you? If they're trying to get you alone indoors, wherever, in the evening especially, so those kind of things. But I mean, those are things that you'll also see in person. So yes, that discernment, observe. And then the other one was looks. Are we overvaluing looks? As I said, same person you are offline is the same person that you are online. If offline, what attracts you to a girl when you see her at a church, at a grocery store, wherever, if it looks, but I mean, obviously, I think it's actually quite human to first be attracted to how a person looks. I don't know anybody who walks around with a blindfold. Even if it's not the most handsome person in the room, something about them, like you might like their cute little toes or whatever it is that you like about them.
Damn!
It starts with the physical.
Yeah.
It starts with the physical.
It's the first thing you see.
But I do. So I think there is that thing. You notice people. There is the let's call it the eye gate. What you see.
Yeah.
But I think if you meet in person, you can get past that quicker. Whereas on these apps,
But
it's a
what if
swipe.
they smell good too? Then it's what you're looking at and what you're smelling
Yeah,
too.
so I think, but look, I think that's a cultural problem for me. The culture overvalues appearance above character, substance, values. But I mean, no one's naive. You know, everyone notices. No one, you know.
It's definitely the culture, and I have to say that's online and offline. I think what people need to understand is the people that are online are people that are also living amongst us. So those creeps that are what would I say? What's the word? That are hounding vulnerable people online, they can also do that offline. So as I said, if you overvalue looks
So there's creeps
in person, everywhere. Listen,
No, I
those
like this.
people that live
So you kinda
online
need to be
exist
a lot more skeptical?
offline as well. The people, I mean, I've gone online and I've seen people from my spaces, people from my church, people from my these are people that exist in real spaces. They don't just exist online. So it's the same people.
What's your perspective, Mamiya?
Yeah, I think my perspective is, you know, a friend of mine once said, suspicion is discernment's ugly sister. You know?
Sure.
So sometimes it becomes very hard. You know, am I being suspicious or am I discerning? But what you said is so important. Time often reveals, it reveals motive. And so the longer you wait, the longer you get to know people, the more you'll kind of get a litmus test. I think doing online dating or dating in general within community will help you in leaps and bounds. Because if you do online dating in isolation, that's when the trouble starts. But if you do it in community, then you can ask, friend, what do you think about
Yeah.
this? Or what do you think about
Yeah,
that?
So would you actually say check out this profile?
Yeah, check. There's actually a share
there's
button.
an option,
there's an
yeah,
option
you
can-
can share.
Yeah, you
wow.
have to
Yeah,
use
you
that.
can do
So
that.
ask a
It's
friend.
good.
Ask
Yeah.
a friend. But I think for me, what I do is I check the social media. As soon as I match with them, check their social media. What are they posting?
Yeah.
Because you can tell a lot by what a person
Yeah.
posts. The kind of pictures they post, the kind of stuff they share. But I think time.
So a good sorry to interrupt you, please. But so a good principle here is actually do some homework. Check
Definitely do
some
your
cyber
homework.
stalking that's kind of appropriate.
Definitely. You have to. And there's a lot of the people online love to quickly move to WhatsApp, and you can use that to your own advantage if you have something like Truecaller, for example, because it'll bring up the person's name and surname, if you're fortunate, and then you can cyber stalk them. Because they won't always
Cease.
give you their name and their surname. I know this because I've been cyber stalked myself. The person just comes and
public space.
you know,
Public space.
it is. So do your homework and also date in community. I think that's one of the things that have also helped me being open with my friends. Just like, oh, check out Mamiela. What do you think? You know, and then your friends, because they're not emotionally involved. They're not high off that dopamine of, oh, somebody likes me, you know, who's out of my league or whatever it is. Or wouldn't normally like me. Your friend is looking with objective eyes. And if something sounds funny to you that the person asks you or they say, just ask a friend. Well, obviously it has to be a wise friend, not
Yeah.
you know your wise friends. You know your wise friends, but you also know your misleading friends. So yeah, ask a friend that you trust. Just be like, does it sound funny to you? Am I being overly suspicious? Am I being overly cautious? So yeah.
What do you think of this thought? I've got a thought. I've been playing around with it. I sometimes think online dating, because there's like such a variety of people there and different kinds of profiles, sometimes it validates very toxic lists that we have of our types that we want. So we want an American-looking guy who's like this and who's got tennis ball muscles. And then we see this guy online and then we swipe, and this guy just wants to. You know what I'm saying? And we validate so many of those things. So because we cannot find in reality our unrealistic lists and expectations that we put on God, we go online and we start seeing these things and we're
So
like,
if we're impatient.
yeah, if we're impatient. Because then the next question comes to, if I have enough faith to discern and ask God when to swipe and when not to swipe, can't I use that exact same faith to trust him to meet a person face to face?
Oh, okay,
Amen.
you actually said
No.
so many layers there that I wanted to respond to. I was with you when you initially said, what if we're validating the list that we have? I don't want to say it's males and females, but then when you went deeper, you went to the looks. But for me, I can say what I'm guilty of is my list of our values must match. You must love kids. You know, I have lists that are just probably not realistic in terms of the person's characteristics and blah 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 blah. But there must also be chemistry. But there must also, they must be good but not boring. Yeah. So I was thinking in that sense.
Just to remind the guys listening, remember that earlier episode we had where someone who shall remain nameless went down from 30, 40 something to less than 10? So some people do reduce their lists. That happens, just so you know.
Yeah. So I've been told by male cousins and stuff, they're like, oh, you'll reach an age where if he's a Christian and he's got a job, he'll be good, But I agreed with you on that level. It's not only looks based. Another thing I'm hearing, even the questions here speak a lot about online dating is basically, it's the looks that get you, but it's not only that, it's, wow, I found somebody that matches my interests. Like for me, I think that's one of the biggest things that catches me, somebody that matches my interests, because I'm just like, oh, this is going to be so fun. I've actually even noticed I have a pattern of dating people that are like male versions of me. Which is so interesting.
So what happens to opposites attract?
I don't think that's a thing for me.
Okay.
I think, we both like hiking. We both like, for me, I found that's a thing. But anyway, I agree with you on that level of it's hard to find people around me in my workspaces, in my church spaces or whatever that share my interests. And therefore, it's just much easier for me to cut that labor in person and just connect with people who share my interests. And, their lists say that they share my values as well. So on that level, I'd say. And then on the other level of trusting God, listen, you cannot put God in a box. God is everywhere. God is current. I mean, God exists in these times and he's aware of every platform that exists. He's given us the brains to be able to create these platforms, whatever the platforms are. I mean, there are people that have met their spouses at the vet. A person took their dog to the vet or whatever, or wherever. So
By a dog.
but listen, I mean, earlier on I was telling my friend about a couple who met where they clicked online. So let's say there's two people click online and then they decide to meet. And on the day of the meeting, let's just say one bumps into a car right in front of them. And then they get out to exchange insurance details. And, oh, by the way, where are you off to? Oh, I'm off to a date. Oh, where are you meeting this person? Then they mention, I tell you, they bumped into each other. They hit each other. And at the time, where they were telling the story, they've been married for years. So as I said in the beginning, I've got friends who've had terrible experiences. I mean, I myself have had to leave a date early. There are people that have made friends, and then there are people that are now in long-term relationships, but there are also people who are now married with kids and they met online. And these are people that are Christian. So are we assuming that God didn't know that this person is so afraid of interacting in person that they would be safer and let their wall down online? I'm just saying God can use any platform, and this is why you have to take him with you. When you go to the grocery store, when you go to a braai, wherever, be ready for opportunity wherever you are. And I have to say, as much as I've enjoyed online spaces, I've got friends who have gotten really hurt in situations where they didn't even meet the people, but they experienced rejection, like their personality being rejected, for example, or whatever it is. Oh, we're running out of time. So anyway, it doesn't work for everybody. So this is why you have to have a personal relationship with the Lord. And I mean, this is for every sphere of your life. Trust him in your dating space. Ask him. The Lord will tell you. I have friends who downloaded the app and they were like, I could feel the moment I was about to swipe, God was like, get out of here. Because he knows what will destroy you. Some people will go on that space and somebody will reject you and then you'll be destroyed even offline. And then there are people with bounce back personalities. It doesn't matter how many times you're rejected in that space, you can get up again and still trust. So anyway, I said all of that to say going online is not a symptom of you not trusting the Lord. It's not, well, that's my opinion. I guess people have different reasons why they go online, but I don't think we should immediately jump to you're not trusting God. Because I could have observed my Christian friends to whom God left to their spouse through online. And I'm thinking, that might happen for me too. So yeah, it's not necessarily that you've canceled out God, but just remember to take him with you online.
But Neil, doesn't the Bible say he who finds a wife finds a good thing?
Yeah, I think that the interesting aspect
Why
here
are women
is
finding us now?
Oh, I'm sorry, but if we didn't, oh,
We don't want to be
okay.
found.
In
We
that
wanna-
case, okay, can I just say, in that case, if I'm looking for this man to find me, if I don't go online because I'm not gonna take initiative, who is he gonna be finding there online if there's a bunch of Christian men on the site, but there are no females because they're waiting for somebody to find them?
so it's how you find the wife, Momiana. That becomes the
So you need to be
art of the science. In the so
listen. You need to be foundable. Put yourself in places where you can be found. Go to Bryce. Go online.
so Ruda, how does this sound from your perspective as a younger person, as a teenager? Does it sound like it's going to be harder or easier? Obviously, we're all going to take God with us and things like that. But if I can put you on the spot, if you don't mind.
Ooh, I don't know. The whole he who finds a wife finds a good thing. But that idea, I don't know, like a good thing, what's that supposed to mean? Is it just like, you know,
Look, I think it speaks to God's blessing in your life. I don't think it's so much intended as an objectification, not a thing. So, but as a high schooler, as you're listening, if you think, does it still sound like it's easier to meet people online than in person, or
no, it definitely is easier, and I don't know, like it's easier, but it may not be beneficial for like high schoolers because we still need that practice of human interaction.
my rule with my daughter is I meet the person. So I don't know how she's going to get that right online, but she's going to suffer.
You both
It's a
can do that.
non-negotiable.
My dad. His profile.
Can my dad come with
But
on
I
the first day?
mean, we talked about the sharing thing. She can share the profile.
Yeah.
Things like that. But yeah, the scary thing about the online space is it's reality amplified. Where I would meet one guy and deal with one guy on a, let's say, for example, I go to Starbucks and I hit it off with one guy, for example. That's just one guy. But the moment I go on Tinder, if I swipe 100 guys and they all swipe me back, that means it's 100 guys. So the probability,
It's too much. That's a lot.
it's yes, it's everything multiplied. If you're very insecure, if you're very vulnerable, imagine how many more people you're vulnerable in front of.
Because it's interesting you mentioned that. That was a thought I had, is that probably it's a safer space to go into if you're pretty comfortable in your own skin and with who you are, and you're pretty settled that you're able to go, look, this is kind of what I'm interested in, and put that out there. It sounds like it's a safer place if you're still just learning who you are, discovering yourself, not quite sure what you like and don't like. Then this place this online space can shape you. It sounds like it can be not be helpful in those instances. So
I honestly want to say you need maturity. I think it needs people that are mature.
which
You
brain
need to
science
be-
says you don't have till you're older than 22.
So
Your prefrontal cortex
I
doesn't
honestly,
develop.
I wouldn't recommend online dating for youngins, actually, for teenagers. I wouldn't recommend it, not even for early 20s.
Well, it's illegal as well, I think.
'Cause-
you're not allowed to join the sites till you're 18, is it?
Yeah. But I still think even at 20, I mean, I'm generalizing when I say this, but you're still finding yourself. Like when I think of my 20s, it was like, okay, I mean, I'm 32 now. So when I was in my early 20s, it was still one of the most insecure phases of my life, where at that stage when I was 22 or whatever, I was in a relationship. And it mattered so much to me what that person thought that it really shaped who I was at that stage. And I think if I'd stayed in that space, I would have gone a completely different direction in life. Maybe not where God wanted me to go, but who this person wanted me to be. So I think if you want to play in the online spaces, know who you are. Know who you are. And as I said, as Christians, we have the Lord. We are so privileged. Like, I can really speak for myself when I say the Lord is so real and so present when you invite him, how he will just expose a person for who they are, or like he will just reveal things to you. He will show you things. He'll show you patterns. So yes, be mature in yourself. And I think it's important to be mature in your relationship with the Lord and be able to discern the difference between his voice, your voice, and honestly, your hormones. Whether it's that chemistry that's trying to mislead you or whatever it is, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's important to be able to hear the different voices speaking to you. Otherwise, you can really lie to yourself. You can be like, oh, I can really feel the Lord is just like, I must go with this. But it was actually your hormones the whole time. You hearing what you want to hear, you seeing what you want to see, ignoring things, red flags that are flashing at you. So I think for me, I would say keyword maturity in yourself, in your relationship with the Lord, in your discernment, being able to look beyond the surface, you know?
Yeah, I think it's dangerous. I think online dating is absolutely dangerous because there's a lot of agendas at play. There's a capitalistic agenda of the company that is creating this stuff, right? And what they normally do is, if you want to find out the people
Who like
that have
you.
actually liked you without actually swiping, get the gold package. And you get the gold package. And if you want to actually message them without even having to swipe, get this package. So now they're playing on that feeling of, who likes me? Like, oh, I want to be seen. I want to be validated. And I'm not going to lie. When people swipe left and you're like, ooh, I feel good. Yeah, okay, I feel wanted. And I feel like that is somehow filling a void that only God can fill. It's that only God can fill that. And then we go and meet the people, and it's great, and we speak whatever. But I'm gonna be honest, when I was on, I would swipe, and before I knew it, man, I'm speaking to 6 different people at the same time. I don't even know who I shared what with now. And oh, hi, I'm good and you. Oh no, I like hiking. Oh, it's a catastrophe and it's a mess. And so I really think it's replacing something that's beautiful. I think social, human, face-to-face interaction is so beautiful, and the convenience of social media, which might seem convenient and very easy at the time, but it's taking away something very core and very precious. And we're noticing it over time, where people just don't know how to relate with each other. We don't know how to speak. We have a cancel culture where it's like, I'm not in this anymore. Block. I'm out. You know, this relationship is not working for me. Block. Whereas in the past, you have to sit with me face to face.
So let's sit it down and talk it out.
Yeah, you have to see the pain if you are going to leave, you know? And so while there are some positive elements, I think the negative elements of social media are slowly creeping in. And we're becoming a people that are becoming very disconnected to each other under the illusion of being connected.
Because we've now had time to start seeing what it's about. So what I'm also hearing you saying is, look, you have to walk in with maturity, but your eyes have to be wide open. So it sounds like it's a bit like walking into a minefield. So why would you want to do that? Convenience, it's a nice way to meet somebody. But maybe the wisdom is to also say, know what it is for, meet someone, but then get it into the real world space.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to work, if it's going to be anything of substance, you're going to have to meet the person. So that was actually one of the questions that was asked is, you know, how long should you wait before meeting somebody? You know, and how much do you reveal, you know, as we kind of start looking into those things.
Can I just respond to something that Mamiela, what you said? I'm going to stick to my guns and say, all those things that you're saying can happen offline as well. The capitalistic side of things, you think when restaurants are advertising date night for 2, that is not the same thing?
No, it's not the same thing.
But in a way, I mean, I honestly, like for me, I'm just like, whatever's happening offline, online is happening offline as well. But I also have to say, completely canceling online dating could lead to some people actually never even getting to dating, just because people live at work, or, you know, like, how will you open up your world? You know, like, how will
if you live at work, how are you going to be in a relationship
make
with
friends?
them? Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, when you've made a connection with somebody, you guys will make plans to meet. Exactly. Like, some people have ended up making friends, like opposite sex friends online. I think it's not something that you can go with. If you go into online dating from an unhealthy space, like, what is your motivation? Check your motivations. What's your motivation to go online? Anything can turn into an addiction. Some people are addicted to food, books, series, movies,
work.
Whatever it is. Yeah, work. escapism is all over the place. People choose different things. So ask yourself, like, what are your motivations? If I'm going online because I'm so hungry for attention, of course I'm gonna fall for those tricks. I mean, I see those things all the time. See who likes you. I don't care. Whoever has swiped me, that's what I'm gonna see. Like, I've never subscribed. I've never paid for anything just because I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm not desperate. You know, like, I guess because I personally have never gone into the online space because I'm desperate, or because I'm like, oh, I'm so hungry for attention, that I wasn't vulnerable to those things. But as I said, whatever vulnerabilities you have and insecurities you have offline, they're gonna trip you up offline there. So self-awareness is another big thing, like, that I want to say. If you know you're vulnerable to sales, I mean, when you go online on Takealot, if you're vulnerable to those things, I mean, if you're vulnerable in any space, you're going to be vulnerable there. If you go to Checkers and you went to buy bread, but suddenly you see cornflakes are going for 75 Rand off and you can't resist that, then don't go into spaces where you know you will be tricked. So self-awareness, I feel, is a big thing. I mean, it's a yeah. So, yeah.
So, I mean, there were other questions that we didn't specifically phrase, but I think we've covered the content on all of them.
Something, Neil, what was the last thing that you asked? There's something that was quite interesting that you asked.
Everything I ask is interesting.
There's something that I really
but
wanted to...
I don't know what you're referring to,
How long
sorry.
you should wait?
How long
should you wait
to meet in person?
Yes, I wanted to get to that. For
Well
me,
done, Rudo.
yes, well done. My immediate response is as soon as possible. Like, why wait? Mind you, very important, you're not going to meet everybody that you chat with. All right, you've sussed this person out, your discernment has been working over time, you're observing what the person is saying to you. Like, everything is at work, everything is at play. Remember, you're not desperate, you're not thirsty, you're not being driven by those negative things. Okay, maybe I'm looking at this with an idealistic eye, but I'm just speaking from myself. When I've sussed out all the red flags and it feels like, okay, this was like a good thing. For me, I'm like, as soon as possible, because it's only when I'm sitting across you and I'm looking at you in the eye, but also very important, public space. And safe thing, since I had to leave with my food, I no longer do a lunch as a first date. I mean, I'm not in the online space anymore, but when I was last in the online space, I was doing coffee. Because coffee, it's a safe start. It doesn't have to be that long. If it's awkward, if it doesn't feel right, I mean, it's not a whole meal
Drink
that you have
quickly
to
and
sit.
move on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Public space.
It's been great.
But yes, meet as soon as possible. That's how quickly you're going to find that catfish. That's how quickly you will hear the person say left, but their actions are saying right. They claim that they're humble and they're godly and whatever, and they're treating the waiter like, terribly, and they're treating you terribly or whatever it is. You see it quickly in person. So
I do video calls. I think video calls are very
definitely
important.
you do that as well.
Because pictures lie.
Yeah.
Those pictures lie. I met someone once and
Agreed.
they look like the picture, but they don't look like the picture. It's like, oh, you're not lying, but, I've been seeing them and that's just purely just being shallow and aesthetic.
Yeah.
But
Agreed though. Video calls.
Video
Before
calls
a meeting, video call for sure.
Yeah.
But if you got Guababa, take your time.
You can even video call on Tinder now. You used to have to go on WhatsApp or whatever. Now you don't even have to exchange numbers anymore. You can suss each other out right there before you give each other the numbers. Because now when you've given the person your number and you realize they're not who you thought they were, now you have to block them. And, it's just dramatic.
So I think we must still come back to the principles. Make sure there's a friendship. Make sure you get to know the person. I like to get to the real world in as quickly as possible. But maybe this is a good way to find people a little bit. I don't know.
You find different kinds of people, definitely. For me personally, I like integrated circle finding people because you can share values. Once you get person online, hey, you don't know what kettle of fish you're dragging in. So that's gonna take a while, but yeah, it's great to explore, but don't explore alone.
Yeah,
don't explore
and
that
be
conversation.
very self-aware. What is motivating you? What is driving you? But yeah, I have to say, for me, I remain pro online dating just because I know I mean, I look like I'm a social person, but my circle is very closed. And even in the circles that I have, it's not easy for me to find someone that I connect with romantically and also shares my interests. So I guess you need to know what you're looking for and exactly what is your motivation. I don't go online. When I do decide online, I'm not online currently, but when I do make the decision, I mean, I'm not saying I'm never going to go. I could decide at any point, but I need to make sure that I'm okay. I'm not heartbroken. I'm not on the rebound. My eyes are wide open. But yes, for me, I remain pro just because my own little circles are just that limiting.
Wow. Well, our producer's telling us to wrap up. But before we do that, I want to actually ask her, and I want to ask you a question quick. What's the weirdest thing a guy has said to you? Like the funniest thing on an inbox or on like a dating site, like where you're like, what on earth?
Guys have never said weird things to me. Just saying that.
Why can't I think of something immediately? I think it has to be somebody, or someone said to me, 3 months from now we should move in together, and the person's a Christian.
Straight up, first message.
Not first message, but first 2 days of chatting, and then I was just like, what is driving this person? The person really seemed like they were really thirsty to, I don't know, move in together or something.
Sure.
Hectic. Hey, yo, Dimze. Malika, what have you got? What's a weird story you've had?
I don't know, people sliding into my DMs. What are you talking about?
Cap. No, I'm kidding.
Wow, cap. For those who don't know, cap means you're lying.
Oh, I didn't know that actually. I was like, what are you
But I remember the one time I slid into someone's DMs and because I didn't know how to start. You know, you say hey and they're like, just don't do small talk. And so I typed there, so does this mean we're married now? And this person laughs himself sick and they're like, okay, I like you already. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I have to say that's a good start. If a person who can make me laugh, there's a saying that says if you can make a girl laugh, you can make her do anything. It's not accurate, but yeah, you get the point.
Youth boys don't do that. You know, take us away.
No, but that's it from us, you guys. Don't forget to tune in next time for another episode of I Want to Know. Bye.
Bye.